Oliver Tree is once again calling out 21 Pilots. He says he's going to take them to court. Plus, Paramore's Hayley Williams is sharing what years and years of headbanging on stage will do to your neck. Apparently, it's caused injuries for her. We got a lot to get to today. Stick with us. Welcome to Rock Feed. Thanks so much for joining us. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. It takes 2 seconds. It's the best way to support the channel. It tells YouTube you like us, and then they'll show our videos to more people. All right, moving forward, let's talk about Hayley Williams before we get to this Oliver Tree nonsense. So Hayley Williams is obviously in one of the best hard rock bands of the last 20 or 30 years. Now, they've changed their sound in recent years, but those early Paramore albums like Riot, they were incredible. Awesome, outstanding records. And apparently from headbanging when she performs on stage, anybody who's ever seen Paramore, they put on an amazing live show. And Hayley Williams is sharing the consequences of that when she performs. She posted this on Twitter. She said, "In case you ever wondered what nearly 2 decades of headbanging looks like, whiplash." Look at that. Loss of proper cervical lordosis. From what I'm reading, apparently having a straight neck is not a good thing. When your neck is just straight up, that's bad. You want a natural curvature to it. And so, yeah, apparently headbanging is not good when you're a musician in the game. So heed that warning. Maybe a little bit more side to side motion. I don't know what the solution is. I'm not a doctor. Anyways, we got a lot to get to. Amy Osbourne, Ozzy Osbourne's daughter, is now releasing her own music, and I think it's very good. She's a rock artist, and it's a lot different than her dad's, sort of atmospheric, but it is very good nonetheless. And she spoke about this, is something a lot of people don't know. Everybody thinks about Kelly and Jack, but Amy, her daughter, Sharon's daughter, refused to appear on the Osbournes reality show. And she actually moved out of their house at 16 years old to avoid participating on the show. She actually had to move out of her own family home so she wouldn't be on this strange MTV show, which I did enjoy. Here she is talking about the reasons for why she chose not to appear on the Osbournes.
For me, I had grown up around having a pretty well-known dad anyway. And, you know, I always really valued my privacy within that family. And for me personally, and for who I am, you know, as far as morally, and also just to give myself a chance to actually develop into a human being as opposed to just being remembered for being a teenager, it didn't really line up with what I saw my future as. And, you know, it definitely worked great for the rest of my family. But for me and who I am, I just knew it was never something that I would have been able to consider realistically. So.
And for those of you who haven't heard it, here's a little bit of her new single, Shared Something with the Night. It's really cool. Hey, here's some fun news for you. Apparently, Ren and Stimpy, the classic Nickelodeon cartoon, is making a comeback over on Comedy Central. We've seen this nostalgia wave where they're constantly bringing back various cartoons, and now it's happening with Ren and Stimpy. It says nearly 25 years after wrapping its run, Ren and Stimpy are returning to TV. Comedy Central has greenlit a reimagined take on the former Nickelodeon and Spike adult animated series. Details are scarce, but the Viacom-owned cable network plans to hire a new creative team for the update, which will be reimagined for a new generation. The series from Nickelodeon Animation Studio, additional information including writers and episode and premiere date, has not yet been determined. This just weeks after we learned that Beavis and Butthead was coming back again. I could see Celebrity Deathmatch making a comeback. Now the only thing we're missing out on is Doug, King of the Hill, and Rocko's Modern Life. Anybody remember that? All right, we got to move on. We've got a new update on Corey Taylor's new singles, and this is the numbers starting to roll in. We've got data from Mediabase by way of Blabbermouth. You can see this over on their site. So his single Black Eyes Blue this week was the most added song on active rock radio. It entered the charts at 26 and it's already moved up to number 16. You don't normally see rock songs debut at number 1 on the radio charts. So they work their ways up, and this song is apparently getting national spins more and more with frequency. So that's Black Eyes Blue. He has the other song, which is CMFT Must Be Stopped. It's a little bit different. It's got a hip hop flavor to it. And that song was a little bit more polarizing to people because it had a different sound that people weren't used to really hearing from Corey. And look, my take on that is that when you do a solo project, it's meant to be fun. It's meant to be experimental. This isn't Slipknot. I think the Slipknot album delivered on everyone's expectations. Same with Stone Sour. This is his solo thing, and why would you want him to release a solo album that sounded like Slipknot? You want him to have the wackiest, craziest interpretations, limitless creativity, and come up with what he comes up with. So Black Eyes Blue is doing well in the charts, and CMFT Must Be Stopped has already 1.5 million views on YouTube alone in just a few days. All right, and moving on, Oliver Tree is once again threatening 21 Pilots. If you're not familiar with Oliver Tree, he's the bowl cut wearing, scooter riding music extraordinaire. He is absolutely hilarious. His music is fantastic, but he's also better at marketing his product than anybody else. He's an interesting personality. He's funny. But again, the music is good. But there are a lot of comparisons to 21 Pilots. People are always saying that he sounds like 21 Pilots. Now, Oliver Tree gave an interview on the H3H3 podcast where he said that Tyler Joseph followed him on SoundCloud like 10 years ago, and he's saying that he was ripping off his sound. Now he's gone further to post basically a highlight reel of different reviewers saying that he does sound like 21 Pilots, and he added the caption, 21 Pilots, I'll see you in court.
The combination of rap and rock and pop seems kind of reminiscent of 21 Pilots.
Reminds me at times of 21 Pilots.
I get 21 Pilots vibes.
21 Pilots kind of vibe.
This sounds like 21 Pilots.
Holy shit, it sounded like 21 Pilots.
This is a 21 Pilots song.
What do you say to people who say that your music is just a dollar store 21 Pilot?
I would say everybody knows 21 Pilots ripped my shit off. And people ask how it happened. Well, Tyler Joseph used to follow me on SoundCloud.
Is there any legal action in the works?
Yes, there will be repercussions.
There are even
The funny thing about this is that he posted this 18 hours ago, and 21 Pilots, nobody, Tyler Joseph, Josh Dunn, they haven't responded to this at all, and it makes you wonder if there is any beef there. I don't know. Does anybody know if these guys are actually friends or not? The fun thing about Oliver Tree is you can never tell when he's serious or when he's joking because he's sort of always in character, but he does seem to get mad sometimes for real. And you know, he's spoken about his issues with his record label from time to time. He's just an entertaining person, and we need more of that in the music industry. We need more storytelling and entertainment instead of just bland, straightforward, the same narratives we get every time a new album comes out. This is actually exciting. All right, and we've got some exciting stuff coming up too. I am going to be interviewing a host of different musicians over the next few weeks, and one of the interviews coming up is with Styx Adenia from Steel Panther. He's going to be coming on the podcast. We'll be having a good conversation. If you have a question for Styx, let me know in the comments. Styx from Steel Panther, and I'll be asking some of them on that interview. All right, folks, thanks so much for joining us today here at Rockfeed. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe with notifications on so you don't miss out on breaking news and updates. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you all very soon.